Hello everyone, welcome to Preterist Papers. This is the 21st discussion in this series. The title of this paper is 10 Kings and the Little Horn of Daniel 7. You can find this printable 2-page fact sheet on preteristpapers.com. This is a theory and is offered as a possibility or conversation starter. We are using Young's literal translation. A major hurdle in dealing with this text is identifying who the saints are. From Israel's perspective, the whole of the chosen people were saints, that is, ethnic Israel. But then, in Daniel's vision, the saints sometimes appears to pertain to the remnant, a subset of ethnic Israel. It would be like calling all people in a classroom students, even though some never study. But then you can also call the subset who study the students. We believe the word saints is used similarly in Daniel 7. Ethnic Israel was called saints, but the subset of Israel who was devoted to Yahweh or Messiah were called saints. Most ethnic Israel saints were caught up in the war and victimized by the zealots, but the remnant saints who had suffered persecution by the Jews for their faith were vindicated by the war. Once we have that figured out, we will not be thrown off by what appear to be contradictory destinies of the saints in this vision. Another major hurdle is identifying the 10 kings. Some preterist commentators believe the 10 kings were Roman generals or client kings or provinces of Rome because they were horns on the head of the fourth beast, which was the Roman Empire. This makes sense and is certainly a possibility, but we cannot find reference to 10 of anything in connection with the Roman Empire at the time of the Jewish conflict. However, Josephus specifically named 10 Jewish generals, primarily of the elite class, who took command to execute the war against Rome in the various regions of Israel. So why would they be on the head of the fourth beast, which was Rome? Even though they fought against Rome, they promoted Rome's dominion over the Promised Land by igniting conflict with the empire, sacrificing the lives of its people, and giving Rome its wealth and people as slaves. The elaborate Colosseum, for example, was built with the riches taken from Israel. Daniel states that 3 of the kings were fallen. Josephus reports specifically that 3 of the generals of the original 10 were murdered by the degenerate and more powerful zealot factions. It fits with covenantal history that Daniel would make mention of these 3 fallen Jewish generals. The little horn is fairly easily seen as the godless rabble of zealots, the lawless ones who had huge egos and cruelty to match and took over the execution of the war. There are 10 kings referenced in Revelation, and we believe they are the same 10 kings as in Daniel. In Revelation 17:16, however, it states that the 10 kings hate the harlot, which was Jerusalem. This appears to be a problem for our theory since the 10 Jewish generals were presumably fighting to preserve the harlot. However, it goes on to say that the 10 horns make the harlot desolate and naked, and they ate her flesh and burned her with fire. Well, this is true. Those Israelites who declared war on Rome enabled the stripping of her land, her extensive wealth, and the lives of her people with famine, slavery, and vast numbers of dead. Even though we may be unsure with regard to the specific details of this prophecy, we can see the greater picture, the supernatural foreknowledge of these events. Prophecy proves the identity of the God who knows the end from the beginning. We need to reiterate that prophecies of the Old Testament must have been fulfilled before the Old Covenant passed away. If there are prophecies in the Old Testament that must still be fulfilled, then we cannot be in the New Covenant. Jesus said that not even one smallest letter or one tiny pen stroke could pass away from the law and the prophets until all was fulfilled. Matthew 5:17-18. But we are indeed in the new covenant, and all indeed has been fulfilled. Thank you for listening, and please join us in the next video.